Okay, so here we go. You got it? Okay. So what we're going to be talking about here for makerspaces and what we're doing is this is really the third industrial revolution. We're going to touch base on what I mean by that really quick. We're going to talk about what mass customization means and why this is really what's going to change the world. We're going to talk about a little bit about what different types of makerspaces are out there and what people are doing. We're going to say why in the world is your library doing this, and we'll answer any and all of your questions by the end of it because I know you're going to generate more while I'm going. So we're going to go back and back and back. Let's see how far back we can go, Barry. Again? Can we keep going back? I think we can go back farther. Let's go back a little bit farther. I think we need to get started a little bit. There we go. This is the first industrial revolution. You may not believe it or not, but this guy here started the modern society. You guys know who he is, right?
Yep.
I don't have to tell anybody here. Okay, good. Thank you very much. So Gutenberg started off with a mechanical way of reproducing what people had to do by hand. That's exactly what all manufacturing has become. He's the one who started the manufacturing process for the world. He is the one who's created this whole modern mess that we're in. This is the thing that started where you get called a Luddite. Because the Luddites were the people who were angry and did not want the looms to be there. For the mechanical looms, they would go around and destroy the looms because they were taking people's businesses away from their houses, and machines were taking over the world, and it's going to be, oh my God, we're all going to die. From the 1700s. So, you know, it happens all the time. So, Henry Ford, jumping forward a couple time machine hops here, he did what? Did he invent the car? Did he invent the assembly line?
No, not really. He used them.
Henry Ford's genius was that he took the automobile from France, he took the assembly line from Britain, he combined them, along with Edison and Menlo Park, and created a brand new way of doing business here in the United States. He's got that famous quote there, you can have any color you want, as long as it's black.
Yeah.
Because that's what you can do. When you're on an industrial scale, this is what happens. You're doing mass production of a product. I can have this nut and bolt in any type I want as long as I get it this size. And that's all you're set for. And we're used to modern factories now where I have 17 factories that can retool and give me 17 or 20 different types of bolts. And we're about to change all that. Why that all changed is personal computers, and why we're here today. Because about in the mid-70s is when personal computers really got out to the public. The old Commodores, the old PETs, the old things like that for people that did that. In the early 80s is when you start getting the internet coming out to people, and you start getting the ability to share information with everyone. Desktop publishing from 1985. And this is actually one of the more important things about computers that most people don't really think about. Desktop publishing allowed anyone to publish, anyone to print anything they wanted. You no longer needed to go to professional typesetters. This was the next step from Gutenberg. Gutenberg said, here we're going to help you lay out this, and then if you want to do fancy, you're going to have to go to an expert. Now everyone's their own expert. Everyone can do and make their own stuff. And then of course the World Wide Web comes out as part of the internet, and now everyone can share every bit of information they want everywhere instantaneously with everyone. And so that's why we're now in our third industrial revolution, because we took that basic standard printing press standardization, we went to Henry Ford and we put that assembly line together. Now we are on the ability to do this on this table up here. Something that you could never have imagined even in the 80s. And people will tell you, oh, 3D printing's been around forever. Yes, 3D printing's been around forever. The machines were, $100,000. My wife's not gonna let me buy one. So this I can get away with. So this is why it has all of a sudden just exploded, because Now that you can do this small customizations, instead of having a mass-produced product, you can have an individual produced product. You can customize something to exactly what you want, and it is going to change the world as we know it. None of us will recognize it. Mass customizations. You guys probably know about this. Souls is a company. You go into a Dr. Scholl's store, any place, stand on their little machine, boom, they take your measurements, and now you get a custom insert for your shoes. Can you imagine how long that would have taken before the ability to just walk into any store and sit there and do this? How many podiatrists would have just gone nuts at this? I don't see them smashing computers right now. Part of this mass customization is actually really, really personal also. Normal is a company that you take a picture of your ear and they send you back earbuds that are custom made just for your left ear. And you take a picture of the right ear and they are custom for your right ear. They will fit perfectly, they have very good sound quality, and they are no one else's, they are yours. They are custom just to that particular ear canal that you have there and going. Again, this is something that no one could have dreamed of even probably 5 years ago that could be possible to do. Let's get larger, cars. Somebody mentioned earlier to me about how soon they'd be able to go 3D print a part for their car. Detroit's going to, save a lot of money. And I'm like, no, Detroit's not going to exist. I'm just going to print a new car when I want one. Because all I need is a large enough printer, and it can print the entire thing. I drive a Nissan Leaf right now, so I could just take that engine out of it, drop it in this one, and I'd be gone inside of 5 minutes. Tesla's got this technology already for batteries, where you just drop a new battery in the car and drive away. You take a 3D printed car, a battery, okay, I want that battery pack, I want that car there, I want those seats, put it together, drive off. 2 weeks from now, oh, you know what, I want to reprint that outside because I don't like that color today. Yeah, how does Detroit get to compare to that? Large scale, housing. And I know you're saying, well, how little hamsters could live in there. You take a 3D printer, 30 foot tall, 20 foot wide, looks like a big gantry, and it's got one of these print heads, essentially just a big fancy one of these, that spits out concrete. And it goes driving along, spits in all the stuff, puts out a concrete wall for you, leaving all the channels for plumbing, for electrical, windows, doors, everything that you want. And you're like, yeah, that's a cool thing. Yeah, someday maybe they'll do one or two of them. Last year in China, they did, as their show-off experiment, they printed 20 houses in less than 24 hours. Wow. Yeah, Lennar is not going to be happy with this. This is what the world is changing to. Even the government has finally figured it out that, hey, this might be an important thing to talk about. President Obama has created Maker Day every June now for the United States, where there's a day celebrated every June just for this kind of idea. We're getting young people and old people and everyone interested in the idea of being prepared, thinking about this, making a mess, doing something with your hands, building and making a product for yourself. And you can come in and do this. Now, yes, you could go out and get a 3D printer if you wanted to. And we'll talk about that towards the end here, about why I'm going to tell you don't. I'm the library, just come use mine. And what you hear a lot of words like STEM and all this other stuff. What I want to stress to you is you need to do what you're interested in, what you've always thought, well, if I could, I would do this. Because now you can. Now we've got the tools that everyone can do just about anything they really want to be able to do. If you always thought, well, I'd really like to do a little bit of art project, but I'm not really good with my hands. I can draw it, but I could never make that on a pottery wheel. I could never do that. Well, up there on the right-hand side there, that's a nice little spaghetti-type pencil holder thing that I found on Thingiverse. We'll talk about that website at the end. That Ferris wheel is a working Ferris wheel. You can print out kids' toys, or adult toys if that's what you want to do with it, for all that stuff. On the right hand side, real working violin, 3D printed. Print the pieces out, assemble them, bam, you've got your new musical instrument. I'm not going to guarantee it's a Stradivarius, but. So why 3D printing became so popular and so big, so fast as it seems? The Micro was the first one that somebody figured out. What happened was, and this was in 2013, 2011, a couple of companies started making kits of 3D printers. Somebody figured out that, hey, this big $15,000 machine that's sitting in the tool and die shop down the street, and you know, if I could get my hands on that, I could maybe do something with it. I could make something. And they figured out a way to make some smaller, cheaper ones out of cardboard, out of plywood, and just cobble it together, just like any kind of, you know, tinkerer does. The Micro said, okay, nobody's going to really want to buy parts and put it together and use it unless you're really dedicated. It came already pre-assembled. It was a small little thing. You could only print tiny objects, about 3 inches by 4 inches big. It wasn't, but it sparked everybody's imagination. They wanted to get $50,000 together to be able to put out a couple hundred of these things. They made more than $3 million on Kickstarter to start putting these out. As soon as that hit the press, as soon as people understood how big that was going to be, people like Maker, the MakerBot series people here, they started putting out their own machines. Now there's probably 30 or 40 competing brands of 3D printers out there, and prices that used to be that $100,000 are now $1,000. This one on the machine, this machine right up front here is $2,500. So, what a maker is, as I've been throwing around these words, or hackers, or Hackspace, or Makespace, or whatever, what these places are. They are some place where you go, where you have a community of people, of like-minded people that want to do stuff, want to build stuff, whether that's welding, whether that's sewing, whether that's crochet, whether that's anything. Your sewing club could be rebranded as a maker space without any problems at all, because that's exactly what maker spaces are. It's people coming together and making things with their hands. Traditionally, makers also talk about the idea of having hardware and software stuff together. Building a new app, making something along the lines of tweaking an iPad to do something else that it wasn't really expected to do in the first place. Robotics, where you've got all sorts of different robotic stuff going out there now for the public, because you can print all your small parts, and now I can build these things, and I've got Raspberry Pi and Arduino computers that are smaller than this and as powerful as what NASA used to get Apollo there, and you can do some amazing things with this stuff. And of course, all the traditional woodworking. If you're into routing, if you've ever had a woodworking shop, and all that stuff falls under the makerspace. Risk management won't let me put a bandsaw in the library yet. Yeah. You can. You can actually, I'll show you the parts that I printed for the printer. After it broke, we printed parts for the printer on the next printer. So why libraries? Why in the heck are libraries getting involved in this? Because we have always been about getting information out to everyone. Because the more people that have information, the safer that information is, because everybody knows it, so it's not going to be forgotten. The more people that have the idea, the more people can talk about it and decide, oh, wait a minute. If we change that gear there, then we can make this. If I see this pencil holder thing, I'm like, oh, wait. Now, if I add a couple of extra holes in there, and I can hang this on there, you can spread that out to anyone and everyone that you want to do. Between the books, computers, databases, internet access that we've always provided to everyone, we now are getting into doing much more along computer classes. And you've probably all taken a computer class or two at the library. There's some basic stuff. But we're doing much better with those now, especially starting down at Main Library. We're starting to do introduction to 3D printing, introduction to the Creation Station and stuff like that that'll be happening in March, introduction to Adobe Creative Cloud and things like that. We do e-reader and tablet help. You come in with your device that you got and you're like, the kids bought this for me and I'm not sure I wanted this one. How do I make this work? I wanted one from Amazon and they gave me an iPad. And how do I make this stuff transfer? That's what we do. We help people with all those kinds of things. And of course, just basic tech literacy of helping people out. And we are, especially with the Creation Station, we are all about entrepreneurs. Small business, people who want to make things and do things. We have what's called Creation Station Business downtown at Main Library. And it's printed that fast. While we were talking, printed, brand new nuts and bolts. It's cool, ready to go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Give me a new one. And we'll start a new print job here in a second. But we have a Creation Station Business that is all about, come on, come on. See, they're so finicky little thing. Come on, it's okay. Thank you, thank you. Done, there we go, now it's warming up, now go. Creation Station Business is what I am doing downtown at Main Library. Creation Station Business is all about entrepreneurs, so all about small businesses and about you coming in and taking a class and learning how to build your business up. We're going to be teaching classes about how to do design, how to do this, how to create your brand, how to set up yourself, how to do a marketing campaign. My example I use for a lot of people is resumes. When you tend to think about business classes or classes like that in a library, everybody's like, oh yeah, they're going to show me how to write a resume. And you're all like, I don't want to write another resume. And I'm not going to teach you. Because I'm not doing resumes in the Creation Station business. I'm doing how to read a resume and hire someone based on their resume. So you guys come in and take these classes, and you're like, well, yeah, I need to hire one person because I want somebody else to go manufacture this product that I've designed. Here, we can go hire this. Here's how you hook up with somebody else in the community that can design a logo for you that you can go use and go out there into the business world and do everything like that. And we are all about public service. I always tease about this, that I can do anything I want in the library. I can get as dangerous as I want because I've got a printer. I'll just reprint their finger. And we did. Had a lady come into the Creation Station, came back from the hospital. She was missing her thumb. They said, okay, well, it'll be about $10,000 to $15,000 for your prosthetic thumb. And she's like, okay, well, I can't afford that. She came into the library, and we printed it for free. We are working with Nova Medical School. We are printing, we help them get organized with a printer and stuff for the Enable project, which is printing Raptor hands. It's a prosthetic, fully functioning hand for children without limbs, and we can print it for free between the library and Nova, and their prosthetics department helps the kids fit and go and move on. And what kid wouldn't want a really cool orange hand? This is the goal. Instead of paying $10,000 for a basic, boring hand that you're going to have to get rid of in 3 years because the kid outgrows it, the kid wants orange this week, we print orange. He wants purple in 2 months, we print purple. Boom. When he gets older, plus 10%. Boom, it's done. This is going to change the world on how this works. Any manufacturing process is just going to be radically changed by 3D printing. So the Creation Station downtown, and I've talked about this because that was one of our topics today, was 3D printing, but one of the things also is that the Creation Station is only about a third of it, what I say is 3D printing. A lot of it is all about all the other stuff. All the things you want to do. Now, if you haven't come down to see me, come on down at Main Library, right there, Broward and Andrews. We've got a nice little room there. It's about 2/3 the size of this room here. We've got a set of printers, we've got all sorts of hands-on technology, we've got a full bank of computers, of hands-on with tablets, the dogs, Spheros, Leap Motion, which is a hands-free way of using your computer. Lots of great things going on in there. We do get a crowd, so don't be surprised if you come in and in 1 hour there's nobody in there, and in the next hour I've got 15 people milling around. It happens. We give tours, we give all sorts of stuff. All my contact information is there, creationstation@broward.org. Get straight to me, I'll organize a tour for you, we'll put together small tours, all sorts of stuff. So 3D printing, that's why we're talking about it, because all the cool kids are doing it. I want you to notice what this table looks like, because that's what my table looks like in the lab. It's a mess, just like this quickly became a mess up here as I'm trying to make this work. 3D printing is about the same stage as personal computers were 20 years ago, where inkjet printers were 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's a messy thing. They are finicky. They don't work. Here is a broken print head from here that broke today, bringing it in from the parking lot, something jammed. And I had to break open a new one to make sure I had something to show you in print in here today. These are not something that I would tell you go out and buy for your house right now. Come to the library, try them out, see what we're doing, see what you can get out of this stuff, and learn first, and then go back and decide what you're going to do. There's a lot of different 3D printers out there. We're using PLA. However, there's all sorts of other different stuff, including a chocolate printer. Now, I know you're saying, oh, that looks good. Yeah, that's a really cool idea, isn't that? A couple of little nozzles spit down the base of a chocolate bar, another one to put in a filling. Awesome, this would be great to have. My boss is almost there. I've got her convinced, I think. But one of the reasons I bring this up is while it's a really fun, cool idea, and you're like, that's amazing. This is actually one of the first things that 3D printing has shown the world they can change. Small little family-owned dessert shop did chocolates, did eclairs, did all the little stuff, did ice cream up in Boston. Somebody said, oh, this 3D chocolate printer is really cool. They bought 2 of them, opened up a store right down the way, put the other store that had been in business for 150 years, put them out of business within 2 months. Because you could just take this and print. You want what on your thing? Oh, I don't need to get an artist to design and make your fancy special chocolates just for your wedding. Here's your picture. Boom, it's in the computer, done. Hit print. Okay, how many copies do you want? This is changing the world. There is not going to be any way around it. You cannot stop it. It's moving forward. And we will find all sorts of new cool things. Beyond that, and you can just go click. We've got editing photos. We have all sorts with the full Adobe Creative Cloud for you at the Creation Station, so that you can do anything with photos, with video, with music, with green screen video. Everybody's familiar with all the special effects stuff. Well, you just come to the library now, check out the green screen, pop it up behind you, check out a video camera, boom, you go. Well, you can do full web page design, anything that you want to do. We've got the Adobe Creative Cloud, in case you don't know, is a full subscription model. It costs me $1,000 a month. And it's got Dreamweaver, Premiere Pro, everything you could possibly want in there to do with it. And we have the speed for you. I just did a project with the YMCA where they checked out some video cameras from us, went up to Tallahassee, their kids interviewed legislators, they come back and they're like, great, we've got all this video we want to do something with. And Barry can attest to this for you. And you go to upload it to YouTube and it goes, well, the library's got really nice internet speeds, in case you hadn't noticed. So I've got people who are coming in. This summer, we had kids coming in with their GoPro cameras, bringing their skateboarding videos, bringing their surfing videos in, combining music, putting all nice backgrounds, come up and upload it and do it. They could have done it at home. They're all technically proficient. But we've got the tools and the facilities for them to be able to go and do this kind of stuff. Podcasting. Are you really going to just come into the library and talk? Yes. We have what I used to call quiet study rooms. Now I just call them private studios. You come get a microphone, you come get a video camera if you want, you set it up in there and you come and talk. We've got free Wi-Fi, we've got high-speed internet. You can come in and put together a podcast, get it up online, do everything that you want to do with that. You want to do video, we're ready to do video for you. We've got all sorts of stuff. And because of our speed, you could do a live podcast, something that not most people would be able to do at home. You could actually come in and do something like this, small scale, and upload directly to video as you're going along. Of course, the green screen stuff, again, with all of our podcasting, because if you're going to do video behind you, I could be doing my travel log. I could really bore the kids with my travel videos now, because I could sit there and put a green screen behind me of every single picture that I took in Paris. So here's a layout of a quick layout of the room, just so you get an idea of what we're doing. We've got on the far side there, on the far left of the screen, is our 3D printing. We've got our center bar there. We've got seats. We've got a place just to come in and sit there and absorb. Because that's what happens sometimes. People just come in and they're like, okay, wait, there's too much here. What's going on? What am I supposed to do? And so I've actually got volunteers, both teens, families. I've got a family that comes in every Saturday morning just to use the space, to learn things, do snap circuits, play with the Spheros, which are robotic balls. And I know you're like, what? A robotic ball? You gotta see this thing in motion. When you just take your phone and you start twiddling with your phone, all of a sudden the ball's zipping all over the floor, and you're having races and you're playing golf because there's a golf game on here and you're zipping around. There's some really fun things. So we've got, like I said, all the Adobe Creative Cloud. We've got all the spaces to do anything you want and to do with stuff there. The next. And so, I timed that down not too bad this time. Everybody understands what I mean, why this is the third industrial revolution. Why now you can have mass customization rather than that one color car. Why you need a makerspace and where's it going, and why your library is going to do this for free for you. And we're going to pause. Do you want to pause for a minute? And then, okay. And then we're going to do questions. We're going to pause.
Let me thank Bob Ansett for a great presentation. Let's give him a hand.